good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on News Up at Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Here on Hot Edition this evening, main opposition National Democratic Congress NDC agrees to return to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee IPAC. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission still proposing for presidential and parliamentary elections to start at 7 a.m. and end at 3 p.m. Details of that this evening here on Hot Edition. Here from the Commissioner of the Electoral Commission, Jane Adokwe-Mensah, earlier today. Also this evening, a legislative instrument to operationalize Narcotics Control Commission, that's the Cultivation and Management of Cannabis Regulations 2023, laid in Parliament today. We'll hear from members of Parliament on this particular one here on Hot Edition, and also later, ranking member on the AHOD committee probing the IGP leak tape saga, James Agaga, says a committee's report is at a draft stage, awaiting validation by members of the committee. We have details of these, plus the latest in business, sports, and entertainment coming up over the next 60 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also live all across the world on 3news.com, and also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale, and also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. I am Alfred Ocansey. Welcome. Let's get into the details now. As the national chair of the main opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, says the party, that's the NDC, will return to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, that's IPAC. Johnson Esiedun Ketia was speaking at an inter-party dialogue organized by the National Peace Council earlier today.
To accept the appeal from the National Peace Council that we should consider returning to IPAC. But we want to return to IPAC and not any other forum. So the other side is for us to work to make sure that IPAC returns to its consensus building ways. We cannot do all that today, but I'm sure the National Peace Council will continue from where we leave off today to ensure that the issues that have been raised and tabled that were blocking our return, those ones will be dealt with before the next IPAC meeting. Thank you very much.
So that was the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, there, making the point that yes, the NDC will return to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC, but that would also be predicated on the issues they raised with IPAC being addressed as well, while they also take that decision to rejoin the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. But it will be recalled that the NDC withdrew from its participation of IPAC after the 2020 general elections, after it accused the leadership of the Electoral Commission of alleged bias in favor of the governing New Patriotic Party. The NDC refused to attend IPAC meetings scheduled for Wednesday, April 21, 2021, and then later in June 20, the same year, aimed at giving the various political parties the opportunity to review the December 7, 2020 general elections. In September this year, at the third annual conference of the NDC Lawyers Association in Akonsombo, a former chair of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Kojo Afarijan, urged the NDC to rescind the boycott of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. Now, meanwhile, the presidential and parliamentary elections in 2024, according to the Electoral Commission, will start at 7 a.m. and end at 3 p.m. That is, if the Electoral Commission succeeds in securing the approval for this proposal, which is contained in the CI that they want Parliament to consider as the constitutional instrument. Now, currently, voting ends at 5 p.m. when it starts also at 7 a.m. But the Electoral Commissioner, Jane Adokwe-Mensah, is convinced the Commission and the creation of the additional polling centers would enable voting to go faster, thereby justifying the need to reduce the voting time by some 2 hours. This is Jane Mensah earlier today.
Reducing the voter threshold in each of the polling stations to 500 voters and below. In 2020, 70% of our polling centers had a voter threshold of 500 and below. And this time we intend to ensure that all our polling centers have a threshold of 500 voters and below. In the same vein, we would increase the number of our polling stations nationwide. We believe that this will go a long way to reduce the long queues which characterize our elections prior to 2020 and allow for a smooth, seamless, hassle-free voting process. In 2020, it took voters no more than 5 minutes to cast their vote due to the introduction of this policy. Based on our 2020 experience and also feedback from the several observer groups, we propose to close the polls at 3 p.m. Our experience in 2020 revealed that by 1 p.m., 70% of our polling stations were empty of voters, as most voters had cast their votes. This made it possible because the threshold for most polling centers, as I mentioned, was reduced to 500 voters per polling station. This, of course, was coupled with the robust verification devices that we deployed to the polling stations. We are convinced that by closing the polls at 3 p.m., we will be able to count and collate in broad daylight, and this will promote the needed transparency and orderliness that we so desire. Indeed, CODEO and other CSOs have also recommended this reform. And as I mentioned in the past, we had a high threshold, some 1,000 and more, and of course our kits did not function as they should. And so you will find that we had several people in the queue for long hours. And we believe that with the system we have put in place, reducing the threshold, increasing the number of polling stations, and of course with the robust kits that we intend to deploy, we will be able to move at a faster pace.
That's Jane Mensah there, is chair of the Electoral Commission, talking earlier today at the inter-party dialogue hosted by the National Peace Council. Let's get on to the telephone now. Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Mustafa Bande, is joining us on the telephone. Mustafa, thank you so much for joining us here. Unfortunately, we lost him on the telephone. Try to raise him back on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Remember, we're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. You've heard the Electoral Commission justifying the proposal to have the polls close by 3 p.m. in the upcoming 2024 general elections. Jane Mensah is emphasizing that this adjustment aims to facilitate the transparent and orderly collation of votes by electoral officers in broad daylight. We've seen it in time past where the counting and sorting of the ballot papers goes late into the night, and that generates a lot of tension, chaos, and confusion that also leads to, in some cases, the compromise of the process, because some persons suspect that during the cover of darkness, a lot happens in the process of the sorting and counting of the ballot papers during an election. So that's what the Electoral Commission is seeking to avoid or address. Now, let's get onto the telephone now, and Hassan Ayarga, Dr. Hassan Ayarga, we'll get back to Mustafa Bande shortly, but Dr. Hassan Ayarga is the founder of the APC, and I guess that is going to be the flag bearer for 2024. Dr. Hassan Ayarga, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and good evening for having me.
I would not be wrong if I say that you're going to be the flag bearer of the APC for the 2024 elections, would I?
No, you're not wrong at all.
I see.
You're not wrong at all, yes.
But you haven't
because I'm going to be acclaimed in February as the only candidate going for the 2024 election for the APC. The reason why is that we have posters and billboards of the APC across Ghana. And as a matter of fact, we are on course of making sure that APC comes to power 2024.
You're going to be popularly acclaimed in February. Yes. Nobody is contesting you.
Yes, the party believes that I'm the best candidate for the APC.
I see. Well, but the Electoral Commission is saying that in 2024, the elections, they want polls to close at 3 p.m. because they're going to increase the number of voting centers, and then the machines are also going to be made available in all of these areas as well. I want to find out your take on this.
I think that I hope it's possible, but if you look at the delays and the queues that people always go through in an election process, especially in communities where the network is a problem and becomes an issue, there's always a lot of delay in the processes. And to say that they're going to start from 7 and 3 o'clock, it's going to be a bit difficult for them to be able to finish by that. Because they shouldn't forget that the number of voters have increased from the last election to this election because we've done limited registration. By 2024, we'll do another limited registration to add up those who have turned 18 and above. Are you with me? And that will increase the numbers more. So if they really have the machines that they're talking about, because in the past election, we have cases where their old machines were not working. People were finding it very difficult to identify themselves through the fingerprint and facial recognition. People could not find their ID cards. Some people's ID cards were not captured. Some people were at the polling stations and they didn't see their names. So there are a lot of challenges when it comes to Electoral Commission and its data. So we will see if they are able to resolve all these before the year, because we have 1 year to go. And we will not be adamant to say that they cannot make updates and make changes. But we hope they will be able to do that and finish elections by 3 and do coalitions. I guess by 5 o'clock, they should be able to tell us that they have finished the coalition, and by 7 o'clock, they should be able to announce the winner. Am I right?
Indeed.
Yes, so if they are able to do that, we will give them the credit, but I think that it's going to be difficult. I think that's going to, because you see, I don't know the 7th of December, whether it's going to be a Sunday, Monday, or Wednesday. But if not, if it's going to be a weekday, clearly, many companies do work. They don't really care whether it's
well, so you're right. The 7th of December 2024 is going to be a Saturday.
Okay. So once it's a Saturday, then it's a good day. At least everybody will be able to go out and go and register.
Well, but there are some companies who work on Saturday as well.
Yes, there's some companies that work on Saturday, and they will not even mind telling their workers to come and work. They don't really care what is happening in this country, because people are even fed up with the electoral process because of the bad leadership that we are going. And I tell you, there's going to be huge voter apathy, and that might help them. The voter apathy might be a reason that they will be able to succeed. But if every Ghanaian is coming to vote, we'll be looking at 18 million Ghanaians and more. Because right now, the register is about 17 million plus. So by the time we get to 2024 and do, another voter registration exercise, limited registration exercise, we might be hitting around 18 million Ghanaians who are ready to vote. And don't forget, there are always issues of people challenging others of not being real voters. And this has always amounted to delay, fingerprint identification delay, facial recognition identification delay. In some cases, ballot papers are not even brought to the centers by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. They are not even ready. In instances where we had in the last, some of these machines were not working at all, and they have to bring in more and more machines. So, it is their decision. We'll keep monitoring and watching, and we hope that they are able to perform.
Well, indeed. So you're going to take the position of being cautiously optimistic, and it's well within your right to do so. I thank you so much for joining us and for these very important thoughts that you share with us. Thank you.
Thank you, too. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Dr. Hassan Ayarga there is the founder, and now he's just indicated that he's going to be the presidential candidate for the APC in the 2024 elections after. And this popular acclamation is expected in February when the party goes to Congress. But Mustafa Bande is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, is joining us as well. Mustafa, I lost you earlier. And before we get into the Electoral Commission's expectations for election 2024, your chair, Johnson Esedun Ketia, has indicated that, yes, you're going going to indeed give full support and premium to the decision to return to IPAC, but you want a few things done. What is the timeline for this decision?
Thank you very much, Alfred. Good evening to our cherished listeners. Basically, as you are aware, the purposes of IPAC is a body where political parties with the Electoral Commission build consensus, and the underlining word is consensus building. For some time now and some years now, IPAC under Jim Mensah has simply become a place where people go, Electoral Commission brings an opinion, and that opinion cannot be changed. If you disagree, they say that let's go and vote. And once they rally other political parties and you lose, it means that even though you are a major player in the election, because of voting, you've lost the opportunity to build consensus. And so the NDC doesn't have a problem with the Electoral Commission except to say that the purposes of IPAC is not as it is today. Today's IPAC is not reflective of the principle and objective of IPAC as it were in the years past. But the NDC is simply expecting the Electoral Commission and demanding that the status, the purpose, the objective of IPAC as it was should be restored so that political parties, active political industry players will sit on a round table, build consensus around issues that build up to our credibility, transparency of our electioneering process. The Electoral Commission alone cannot build transparent processes if the political parties are not involved, because the political parties are active players or active actors in the electoral process. They participate in the electoral process. So those processes are meant for the parties, and the parties need to build consensus. That's the reason why the NDC is saying that there's no point. If we are going there is not to build consensus, then there's no point going. We cannot be debating with the Electoral Commission. Electoral Commission is simply a referee that is supposed to be in the middle of political electioneering process. It shouldn't be the case that we go to IPAC meeting and we are always at the stage of the Electoral Commission. That doesn't build a healthy democracy. So that's the NDC's position that look, IPAC should respond, the status should be restored as it was. That we sit there, NPP, NDC, CPP, to build consensus about how to get a peaceful election, how to get a transparent process, and how to get a credible system. That is the process of IPAC, and this is what NDC does.
Great. Now, straight into what the Electoral Commission has talked about earlier today, because with the IPAC decision, I think it's quite clear what you intend to do in the coming days. What the Electoral Commission is saying is that because you're going to increase the number of voting centers in election 2024, plus increase the number of BVRs as well on that day, they want polls to start at 7 a.m. as usual, but then again, the end time will be 3 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. What's the NDC's position on this?
Well, let me state that technical officers and directors of the NDC are simply analyzing this position. But on the hand side, the Electoral Commission have not been able to give political parties and the people of Ghana the disadvantages, clear disadvantages, systemic challenges that a 5 o'clock have posed to the electioneering process. If the Electoral Commission can bring credible systems and machines and get to voting centers on time, increase the number of polling stations to the extent that we do not have queues beyond the time that it is estimating, why not? We would want to have elections where, under the particular circumstance that in 2020, Nanado and government used them to undermine credibility of election by intimidating people. If we can deal with this kind of menace, political parties will be excited. But that depends on the assurance that the Electoral Commission will be able to convey registration material, machines, and each officer will start work on time. We have had circumstances where up to about 11, 10 elections haven't started in various polling stations or polling centers. And that's a major cause of the queue that you see when the time has come to a close. So once we can deal with the fundamental issues, we believe that the Electoral Commission is under an obligation to exonerate itself by building a credible system and also restoring its credibility. Political parties like the NDC is willing to support the Electoral Commission to build a transparent, rigging-free, conflict-free election. So they must come out and give us the roadmap, and the roadmap must get consensus. That is why we say that the purposes of IPAC should build consensus. So once we are able to build consensus around political parties, and we are all convinced that this particular initiative will offer a transparent, credible, free and fair election, the NDC will be for it ultimately.
I do thank you so much for your thoughts on this. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mustafa, for joining us. Mustafa Gbande is a Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, joining us there here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. If you're just joining us, this is what the Electoral Commission Chair, Jen Mensah, said earlier today during that inter-party forum organized by the National Peace Council, where the NDC has indicated its willingness to rejoin the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, but then again, they want their concerns addressed. Also, Jane Mensah says that the polls in their proposal in the constitutional instrument before Parliament, they want polls to start at 7 a.m. and close at 3 p.m. That's what you've heard, both Dr. Hassan Ayega, who just joined us not too long ago, and Mustafa Gbande, indicating that they are going to analyze this because the Electoral Commission hasn't shown enough evidence that they can address the issues of technical challenges and the late start of the polls in some places to warrant this decision. Dr. Sasante is a senior lecturer, Political Science Department, University of Ghana, Legon, is joining us. Asante, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. So first of all, let's start off with what the Electoral Commission intends to do to end or close polls at 3 p.m. as against the 5 p.m. as we've always had it since 1992. Taking into consideration the inherent challenges that we know happens on election day, will this be a feasible proposal to consider?
If you look at it from ordinary man's perspective, you have cause to worry that this can create a problem, especially in our country. Anytime elections are over, you realize that there are a lot of queues and all that. So are we sure that 3 o'clock, by which time everything will be set for counting to take place and the rest of them? If you look at it from that perspective, you would think that is impossible. But hey, who knows? Maybe the Electoral Commission believes that it is doable, and that's why they are making that proposal. For me, my worry is on the fact that I don't want a situation where some people will be disenfranchised, where it can lead to all manner of problems. We don't want that. So the EC must think through that proposal very well and do something about it. The 3 o'clock, I think it's too early. They should look at it and look at it carefully so that nobody gets disenfranchised.
At this same venue, the NDC National Chairman, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, indicated the party's willingness to rejoin the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. And this is a proposal that you have been making over time. It appears that it has gotten the favor of the NDC now.
Oh, as you rightly said, from day one, I believe that it is important for NDC to join that body to be able to perform their functions as expected of them. But we didn't get it that way. NDC absence was also good to send a signal that they were not going to countenance anything that they believe will not serve the interests of this state and, for that matter, the people of this country. So I'm sure the EC has learned its lessons. NDC has also served its notice. And we, the people of Ghana, we have also learned from the two actions. That is the action of the EC and that of what? NDC. So going forward, this will serve as a learning curve for all of us so that issues that need to be addressed, we address them without fear or favor, and then we do the right thing at the right time. Simply because for election, you have to proceed with integrity.
Proceed with integrity. Dr. Asante, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Asante is a senior lecturer in University of Ghana Political Science Department, and still staying with the NDC and matters of election. A former director of elections of the NDC, Elvis Efriankra, is saying Ghana cannot afford to grant the new Patriotic Party another term in office. According to him, the NDC must avoid complacency and equip its agents across the country to win the 2024 elections. He spoke earlier today on New Day on TV3.
The NDC has the potential of winning the 2024 elections in a massive manner, based on my observations, one, based on the current hardships, based on what we are doing, based on 2020. The atmosphere is right for us to win. We can win an absolute majority in parliament, and we can win 54%. 2024 is about the future of this country. It's about the soul of this country. It's about the future of our children. The country cannot afford to have MPP in power for another day. Another day to be too much.
Well, somebody say it's a contest.
So we must all come together. Our chances are so clear. It's like having a penalty in a match in extra time, and the goalkeeper on the other side is injured. But therein lies the danger. If you are not careful and you start jubilating prematurely, you go and play the ball over the bar, God forbid.
That's Elvis Efriankra there, here on Hot Edition. Now, the legislative instrument to operationalize the Narcotics Control Commission, that's the Cultivation and Management of Cannabis Regulations 2023, has been laid in Parliament. Now, the LI seeks to streamline the use of cannabis for medical or medicinal purposes after the parent law was passed by Parliament. The regulation, however, does not legalize cannabis for recreational use. The LI will mature after 21 sitting days. Here's the chair of the Subsidiary Legislative Committee of Parliament, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, earlier today.
Reducing the voter threshold in each of the polling stations.
The global shift and increasing realization of the benefits of cannabis cultivation for industrial and medicinal purposes was reflected in the passage of the Narcotics Control Commission Act 2020 Act 1019. This House, after deep consideration and deliberation, voted to pass the Act with a provision to legalize the cultivation and use of cannabis for industrial and medicinal purposes. The Act mandated the Minister, on the recommendation of the Board, to make regulations by legislative instrument to give effect to or to enable effect to be given to the Act within 12 months after the coming into force of the Act. This regulatory milestone is expected to pave the way for the development of a well-regulated cannabis industry in Ghana, ensuring its cultivation and usage and adherence to strict guidelines and quality standards. Mr. Speaker, the smooth passage of the instrument into law was truncated as a result of the declaration of the Supreme Court in the case of Izuame Mana versus the Attorney General and the Speaker of Parliament, suit numbered J1/11/2021, which declared Section 43 of the Narcotics Control Commission Act unconstitutional. To remedy the situation, the Narcotics Control Commission Amendment Bill 2023 was passed into law.
As Dr. Dominic Ayene is chair of the Parliamentary Subsidiary Legislative Committee. Meanwhile, the Minority Chief Whip, Governs Kwame Agboja, is warning of possible danger with the new legislative instrument, indicating that it could be abused. Now, he contends the country has no record of regulatory excellence, and under the guise of allowing medicinal use of cannabis, it will rather promote its abuse for recreational purposes.
The cost of mental degeneration versus Mr. Speaker, if anybody enjoys smoking, we are not have problem with you. But to say that Ghana is, all the countries you mentioned, which of these countries' economy have gotten better since they started growing? Mr. Speaker, all the countries they've mentioned, not a single one's economy have gotten better since they started growing and exporting wheat. Where is the country? Show me the country that has gotten better. Is it Zimbabwe? To the extent that for the first time in my life, I've seen Zimbabwe used as a good example of economics in this house. That is appalling, Mr. Speaker. If this was to be a situation where we can control the production and the use of this for medicinal purposes, fine. But in our country, we don't have a record of policing things that are hazardous to young people. Minister, you have no idea. In fact, where is the evidence that you have the capability, you and your ministry, I'm not as a person, have the capability of policing this to make sure that a certain particular brand of, call it weed or whatever you call it, is capable of doing anything? Mr. Speaker, I think we should be very careful about, because even the report, the things they talk about in the report, since the inception of this bill, even the Parent Act, I did not see any clause in there that you, the minister, recognize the potential hazard of what you are trying to do to anybody in this country. Not a single clause. You just prescribe punishment. But the problem already exists. Smoking, we are not have problem with you. Versus, Mr. Speaker, if anybody enjoys smoking, we are not have problem with you.
Well, that's the Governs Kwame Agboja. There is a Minority Chief Whip and MP for Adaklo talking there in Parliament, specifically concerning this raging issue of the legislative instrument that seeks to streamline the use of cannabis for medicinal purposes after the parent law was passed by Parliament. So that's what's happening there. But let's stay in Parliament just a bit further, because the ranking member on the ad hoc committee of Parliament probing the Inspector General of Police leaked tape saga, James Agaga, says the report of the committee is at a draft stage awaiting validation by members. A civil society group, Good Governance Advocacy Group, Ghana, had raised concerns about the delay in releasing the report. And Listower Nana Kusi is the executive director of this group.
To say that Ghana is coming, all the countries you mentioned, which of these countries' economy have gotten better since they started growing?
The committee was set to investigate and make the public aware of its findings. Someone is pulling strings not to allow for the report to be out. For example, if I were Dampare, I don't think I would have done contrary, because if a report is coming out to tell what I have done wrongly, do you think I would want the report to be out? We call on the Right Honourable Speaker to do the needful by presenting the report of the ad hoc committee that was set by him to probe. The report is a very important document that must come into the public for scrutiny. The things that are tough to want to present, they can be classified, but some of the information cannot be hidden.
Well, however, James Agaga contends that even though the committee's work has been concluded, budget-related business in Parliament has prevented members of the committee from convening for the last time to conclude work on the report. James Agaga has been speaking to 3FM Duke Mensopoko in Parliament.
The committee has concluded the investigations. We have a draft report which is yet to be considered by all the members of the committee. You know, per the standing orders, draft reports are subject to approval by the membership of the committee. Absolutely. Right, so that is what is outstanding. Unfortunately, you know, we are in the budget season All the members are caught up in their various committees and are working on budget estimates. I had warned that there was the need for us to act more expeditiously, in order that at least so that we could have skipped the budget season, Unfortunately, things didn't work out that way. So we're hoping that as soon as we're done with the estimates, or the majority of us are done with the estimates, we can convene and adapt the report, consider it and adapt it.
So the case is that we're done with everything, report ready, but you have not come to a conclusion.
We cannot say the report is ready because it is in the form of a draft. A draft, several changes can be made. It could even be rejected outright, in which case it would have to be redone. Okay? So that is all we're waiting for. To have a meeting called, and when the majority of members are able to attend and we have a quorum, we will then consider the report page by page. And when the majority of the members agree to make changes or adapt the draft report the way it is, and it becomes the report of the committee, we would put it before the plenary.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Well, so that's James Agalga. He's a ranking on the ad hoc committee probing this IGP leaked audio tape. And the executive director of this civil society group that's making this demand for the report to be made public is joining us on the telephone. Listowel Nanakosi. Listowel, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. Now, you've just heard James Agalga. He makes the point that this report is in the draft stage. First off, they are yet to even have a meeting where majority of the members of the committee will attend for a quorum to be formed for them to go through the report page by page to make changes, even before it's laid before the plenary. That's the whole of Parliament. Does this response answer the concerns that you have?
Well, I think Alfred, his words against that of his chairman, because his chairman makes us understand that Mr. Speaker has a consultant who is looking into the report, which raises our eyebrows, because it's making me feel Mr. Speaker doesn't trust the work of that committee that we put together. What more is the consultant going to do after you have some able personalities, James Agalga, Honorable Tatiana, Patrick Boama, all those who were part of the committee are very strong arms that are able to do a very great job. So why would Mr. Speaker now resort to getting a consultant to look into a work that has already been done? So I think moving forward, I would want to believe that it's taking too long. It's taking too long, and it's not something very pleasurable to the police service as it is now. A lot of things are happening. The anger also in the families of the victims is generating into something else. I'm talking about the families of the extrajudicial killing. They are all relying on the report to decide what to do. And so we would plead with Parliament and Mr. Speaker and the committee, especially with the chairman of the committee, to expedite action to make this report public. After it's taking too long. Mr. Speaker gave them up to 10th September to finish with everything. And they pleaded. I don't know why a report is taking too long to finish. They delivered. They were very much time bound. And so I am just very much confused
as to what it is. And if you understand what is happening on the corridors of Rumo, it's not pleasant. And I think we need to be forthright with what we need to do.
Indeed. Appreciate your time. Listowell, thank you so much for this.
My pleasure.
Listowell joining us there. That's Listowell Nanakofi, who is the convener of the civil society group, Good Governance Advocacy Group, raising concerns about the delay in releasing the report on the ad hoc committee probing the IGP's leaked tape saga that contained an alleged plot to have the IGP, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, removed by the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, the Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, has proposed a new bill on holidays in the country. Now, the bill is seeking to legislate 2 additional holidays for Muslims in the country, one day before Eid al-Fitr and another day after Eid al-Adha. Now, portions of the bill also seeks to limit the president's powers to declare additional holidays and to change how holidays are marked in the country. The Clerk of Parliament has been notified of the bill officially. This is to pave way for the legislative drafting before being introduced to Parliament. So that's what Francis Xavier Sosu intends to do. Before we get into business, and quickly, if you go on 3news.com, the Ghana Meteorological Agency has announced that Ghanaians should prepare for an intense Harmattan season throughout December, attributed to the arrival of a dry continental wind in the country. Ghana is currently experiencing dry and dusty winds, a characteristic feature of the Harmattan season. In an interview, Frederick Kujo, a senior meteorologist at the agency, urged Ghanaians to take necessary precautions to prevent accidents during the season and also get the shea butter ready. And Juliana Menuafol is all ready with shea butter and others for the business news on Hot Edition. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly after this quick break.
Get ready for the most exciting event of the year. It's the 3FM All-White Party. Join us on the 28th of December at the beautiful La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, starting at 7 p.m. Dress to impress in your finest all-white attire and be part of the ultimate celebration of the season. Live musical performances from some of the hottest artists in GH. Fantastic DJs on rotation and unforgettable moments await you at the 3FM All-White Party. Save the date and be there for an incredible night of fun and entertainment at the ultimate party this season. It's the official Christmas 3FM All-White Party on December 28th at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel at 7 p.m. Call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200-927 for your table reservations today. Get ready to party in style at the 3FM All-White Party.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio. Good evening and welcome to the business news on Hot Edition. Coming up tonight, economists predict Ghana not likely to achieve single-digit inflation by year-end 2024. My name is Menuafu. We have details coming up after the break. Thank you so much for your time. Straight to our first story. Lead researcher at GCB Capital, Courage Boti, has predicted that Ghana may not attain a single-digit inflation rate by end of year 2024. This follows a significant drop in inflation to 26.4% in November from the 53.6% peak in January 2023. He is, however, optimistic that the decline will continue significantly in the year 2024.
I don't expect that inflation will return to the target band in 2024. It would largely hover around the teens and close around the mid-teens thereabout. But then it is probably from 2025 that we can reasonably expect inflation to return back to the medium-term target band. And to get there, we need to sustain the interventions and anchor the disinflation trend that we are seeing. And that is where policy is critical in that direction.
Courage Boti is lead researcher at GCB Capital. To more stories, Ghana Export Promotion Authority has indicated an increased support for small and medium-scale enterprises in the upcoming year to boost exports of their products significantly. Deputy CEO of the authority, Samuel Dentu, speaking at the GEPA WACOMP trade show, reiterated GEPA's commitment to promoting the export of high-quality locally made products to foster growth of local industries.
For us at GEPA, we are committed to driving continuous development of made-in-Ghana products and services and competitiveness of our SMEs. Let me assure our cherished exhibitors and clients that GEPA is doing what it takes necessary to promote products both locally and internationally. This year, we have initiated several programs and activities that are benefiting our SMEs. We can assure you of even greater support next year, which promises to be a very busy year for us. Permit me to remind you all that GEPA has established the Ghana Trade House in Kenya to promote Ghanaian products and facilities in active operations.
That was Deputy CEO of Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Samuel Dantu there. Also, in a bid to enhance the sustainability of the electricity sector in the ECOWAS region through harmonized regulatory frameworks, the African Development Bank is providing a $2 billion support to the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Regulatory Authority. The principal objective of the initiative is to facilitate the efficient utilization to enhance the sustainability of the electricity sector in the ECOWAS region.
The African Development Bank stated that the move was expected to significantly enhance and standardize the energy sector in the sub-region.
Very important one because it's, as I said, it's within the Africa single electricity market and also within the project that at the level of African Union Commission, which is the regulatory harmonization of regulatory framework on the continent.
Meanwhile, the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Regulatory Authority commended the AFDB for the effort, while adding that it would ensure the resources are maximized to achieve the expected outcomes.
These are some of the support which we are getting from the African Development Bank, at least for now, to enable us to carry out these studies, which will be useful not only to ERERA, but all the regulators within the regions, and to researchers and to universities and students who are interested in knowing what is happening in the sector. So basically, this is what we are expecting, the support we are getting from the African Development Bank. This is the second time they are giving us this kind of support, and we hope it will continue.
That was a report by my colleague Michael Ogbudu, ending the business news on Hot Edition. My name is Minu Afo. Visit 3news.com for more business stories. Bill will soon join in with the sports news.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Shen. Let's start off from local football, where Hearts of Lions have announced that the club have parted ways with coach Salifu Fatau following their poor start to the Ghana Premier League for this season. Now, since their long-awaited return to the top flight, the Pangbodo Hearts of Lions have failed to win any Ghana Premier League match this season, forcing the sack of Fatau Salifu. Now, to some other stories, the second registration window for the 2023-24 football season will open on Monday, December 13th, 2023, and end on January 15, 2024. This applies to the Ghana Premier League, the Division 1 League, and the Women's Premier League clubs. To some more stories, as Asante Kotoko defeated Hearts of Folk in the Super Clash last Sunday, the Porcupine Tertiary came in their numbers to cheer Kotoko on. Now, the Three Sports spoke to the ringleader, that is George Big Joe Forsen, who stated his ambitions as a supporter of the club.
First of all, it's exciting to see young, vibrant students from the universities who are dedicated and committed, and to ensure that, first of all, our game grows, and then also to show their love for Asante Kotoko. So what motivates me is that I am around and I'm committed to what it is that these young guys always want to do for the club and for our football. And so that's basically what drives me. When I see them being happy and excited, I'm fulfilled. So I'm driven to do more for them.
That is Big Joe, the ringleader of the Porcupine Tertiary. Let's move on to European football, where there are some matches going on in the UEFA Europa League. Now, AS Roma are currently playing against Tiraspol, and the scoreline is 0-0, 8 minutes played. Lask are playing against Toulouse, Leverkusen are playing against Molde, Panathinaikos are playing against Haifa, Karabakh are playing against Hacking, Rennes are playing against Villarreal, Royal Union is playing against Liverpool, Slavia Prague is playing against Servette. And here are some other fixtures for later this evening. Ajax will play AEK, Sparta Prague will play Limassol, Rangers will play Betis, Brighton will play Marseille, Olympiacos will play TSC, Atalanta will also be playing Rakow. These are some of the fixtures in the UEFA Europa League for this season. To some other stories, Chelsea midfielder Moises Caicedo has revealed that he chose to join the Blues because it was, quote, impossible to say no to them. Now, the Ecuadorian joined Pochettino's side in the summer for a British record fee of £115 million.
Because I was talking with Chelsea first, and then it was impossible to say no to Chelsea because they were with me, supporting me because in summer I suffered a lot, because it was complicated to leave Brighton.
It was indeed complicated to leaving Brighton, but eventually he managed to join Chelsea Football Club. Now, Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino believes that his club should go into the market in January for more players.
After 5 months or the first half of the season, we need to check, and that is the reality. If we are not aggressive enough, maybe we need to do something, some movement. That is a thing to analyze with the sporting director, with the owner, and see what we can do to change this dynamic and to improve in the second part of the.
Now, that was Mauricio Pochettino, the head coach of Chelsea Football Club. To some recent news that just came up, Arteta has escaped punishment by the FA for his comments after Arsenal's 1-0 defeat to Newcastle, following a review by an independent regulatory commission. So Mikel Arteta will not be banned from the touchline. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishen, and up next is Entertainment with Akofa.
Hello there, and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. The Creative Arts Agency is on the move to ensure that 100% Ghanaian music is on the airwaves this December as we prepare to welcome the diasporans towards Dirty December. Director of the agency, Jankoma Ekufuado, said the Play Ghana agenda will help promote Ghanaian music and artistry.
Today marks the day that we are pledging to push Ghanaian music to the forefront for our audiences, starting at home. The Creative Arts Agency will collaborate with the stakeholders and players of the music industry and film and broadcasting to review our local content regulations. Both the cultural policy and the broadcasting bill must be amended and enforced. Our Nigerian cousins have implemented 70% local content law within music, film and broadcasting. Ghana must do the same. The Christmas season is upon us, a time where our creative community shines. Travelers visit our golden shores, sampling all the best that Ghana has to produce. Our diasporan brothers and sisters return home with braided hair, kente outfits, hand-carved wooden masks, adinkra symbol jewelry, oil painting of market scenes and Ghana sunsets. But Ghana music is left behind. This month's festivities, for Dirty December, we need our artists pushed to the forefront, to be prioritized in the nightclubs and on the airways. Let that tourist sample not only the best jollof in the world, but the best artists too. So today, the CAA is backing the pledge of Play Ghana.
And some creative personalities who were present also had this to say.
Let's make sure ours is ours, and let's make it appealing to the masses. This is by drumming it in every other day. If we play foreign music to Ghanaians every time, that's what they are on, and that's what they play. So when you go check Apple Music Top 100 Ghanaian songs, you see foreign music. But that's what they hear on their radio. That's what they vibe to. So that's what rings in their head. So when they want to play something here, they want to play their favorite, they go and play that, and you can't blame such an individual because they've been indoctrinated, if I'm using the right word. Yeah. So if we want to do this, it has to be strategic and deliberate. Thank you.
Blessings to everybody. See, with me, everything I say is brief and short and heartfelt. You know, this is not a blame game. We are not blaming DJs, we are not blaming artists, we are not blaming consumers. It's a step in the right direction for us all in our music and our culture. So play Ghana. Blessings.
And in 14 days, we wrap up the year in style at the ultimate party of the year. Talking about the 3FMOY party is happening on the 28th of December at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel with exciting performances by Stoneboy Manifest, Akwabwa, KK Fosu, and a whole lot more. We've got DJs on rotation, DJ Faculty and DJ Abiam, DJ Filter, and a host of others. Now, whether you're going for a large table or you want individual seats on any table, we have you sorted. Call 0531100927 for your table or individual seats reservations now.
Get ready for the most exciting event of the year. It's the 3FM All-White Party. Join us on the 28th of December at the beautiful La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, starting at 7 p.m. Dress to impress in your finest all-white attire and be part of the ultimate celebration of the season. Live musical performances from some of the hottest artists in GH, fantastic DJs on rotation, and unforgettable moments await you at the 3FM All-White Party. Save the date and be there for an incredible night of fun and entertainment at the ultimate party this season. It's the official Christmas 3FM All-White Party on December 28th at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel at 7 p.m. Call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 for your table reservations today. Get ready to party in style at the 3FM All-White Party.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Get ready to party in style. Don't forget to call 053-110-0927 for your table or individual seats reservations. Now, and that's how we bring an end to the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Kofa. Thanks for your time, Alfred.
There's no better place to be.
On the 28th of December. Did I just say something about December? I'm excited. Too excited.
Come and round up your year.
And I will see you dance, right?
Of course.
Oh, with that hard waist of yours. You know, I've seen a video of you dancing before. It is not good. No. I think Giovanni actually gets a pass when it comes to you.
Oh, I mean, it depends on the lenses that you're looking.
Listen, we can put it to a vote and obviously. You will lose. I think you will lose.
Oh, no, there are a lot of people who come to me for training.
Oh, my God, no. Let's not do that, Alfred. Let's not do
It's happening. I'm telling you.
Okay, but then I'll pay to, join the lessons as well.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All right.
I mean, I'll give you a discount, 50%.
Okay, 50%. Oh, that's fine. That's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. For the state of the economy, I consider you. Anyway, but there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com and join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. I am Alfred Ocansey, and you're up at 8 o'clock?
Yes, I am back at 8 o'clock with Wind Down.
Wind Down. Why not?